Andy and I saw bum 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 ba da bum 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 bum.
Spears and Steinberg. You know what the it is? Aries and Andy, Chew and the Jerk. You know it's time to get this work. The real raw, gutter, uncut, cold. No political corrections. Always sleep. Being awoke. We discuss politics and jokes. Scribe, we lit. There's levels to this. Before you was sucking on your mama's tit. Aries Spears don't give a fuck. We talk about race a lot, racism, sexism. Much love to my loyal bag holders, rollers, loaders. We got them in the folders. The whole world on our shoulders. Spears and Steinberg. Yeah.
Okay, let's get right to it. Big shout out to my man Phantom Barber of the Phantom Barber Shop. You know, you guys never really see me without my hat. You know what I'm saying? But came into town here in Shreveport, Louisiana. Dude hit me up on Instagram, was like, yo, if you need that fresh cut, I was about due for a cut. And he cut your boy. And again, I'm not wearing my hat because my old barber, the one who I used to be with before we had the falling out, he used to do the thing. And again, Andy, I forget your son is a barber. Because you went, yo, you got the little spongy thing, and you knew what it was. So yeah, he takes the little spongy thing, rubs the top of my head.
Got twisted up a little bit.
Twisted up a little bit, so I kind of got the dams and Idris. You know what I'm saying? So big shout out to my man, Phantom Barber, for hooking me up here in Shreveport. So I love, man. Thank you. I'm loving it, baby. I'm loving it.
Yeah, it looks good.
I look good, motherfucker.
Well, you know, I saw you. I found you at the airport.
Yeah, you did.
So this is a big, you know, you stepped up.
Yeah.
So you're going to perform without the hat?
No, I'm going to wear the hat.
Okay.
Have you ever performed without the hat?
Yeah, and I felt naked.
Did it bring you bad luck? Yeah.
No, it didn't bring me bad luck, but I like my uniform. And the Timbs and the hat is the uniform. Plus, when I jump in the shower, it's going to all flatten out anyway.
When you were doing that residency in Vegas.
Vegas, yeah, opening up for Keith Sweat. I want that girl. Go ahead.
Did you wear your hat with your suit?
No, I couldn't. Well, I could, but my gay agent deceived me and made me think that I had to wear Prada and Ferragamo.
What does him being gay have to do with
fashion?
Because he's fashion.
Hello. Mark knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Come on,
and, you know, he would always tell me, "Hey, Aries, man, go shopping. Go get you some Prada and some Versace and some." I said, I'm not trying to look like a Middle Eastern nigga that wears all the whole cologne in one shot.
Yeah, but you could get some jeans that didn't look like you could.
In those jeans. I like my jeans, man.
Yeah, just very 90s jeans.
Man, me in the 90s, we together till death, nigga. You know what I'm saying? In my world, it is always 1996.
That's fair.
So a couple things to touch on before we get to the meat and the potatoes. Michael Madsen died, man.
Yeah, man.
Y'all may know him, the brother from...
Can you pull... Oh, sorry. How about the scene from Reservoir Dogs when they're just walking down?
Yeah, he was in Reservoir Dogs. He was in a lot of Tarantino.
He was supposed to have John Travolta's part in Pulp Fiction.
Was he really?
Yeah, but he was busy.
I'm glad that people got the parts that they got.
I think that Travolta brought a very Travolta,
right?
You know, ness to that part.
Character actor. You know, he wasn't a lead man, but he was a big character actor.
He had a leading man look, though. He had
a little rough and rugged.
Yeah, but
But he wasn't dashingly handsome.
No, but you're right. He was.
Yeah,
rugged.
he was in Donnie Brasco.
There he is, right there.
Yeah,
he's a good-looking dude.
Yeah, but he wasn't like.
Hold on, Mark. Is he a good-looking dude?
Damn, dog. Why you? Damn, son. So yeah, man, good, and he kind of always played the same, like tough guy roles.
Yeah, it was
bad, you know, villain tough guy roles. But big shout out to the family, man. Michael Madsen, he was dope.
Like 56 or 58, 56.
I don't know how old he was. The other guy that died was 56 and died of cancer.
Yeah, he's young. He's young too.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that too much partying and drugs?
No, man.
You die in your 60s?
Nah, just sometimes life just taps you on the shoulder and goes, "Come on."
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good scene, though. That ear scene.
Diddly the diddler. Loose, nigga. Diddly diddly.
That's perfect, actually. You should send that to him.
Oh.
For Batman.
Yeah, right.
He could do the bad man. He's bad boy.
Oh my God, what was the verdict? Will he or will he not go to jail? Tune in next week, boys and girls, to see what happens to, oh no, this just came in. He's found innocent. Diddy the diddler. Hey, Steve, fill that in with the usual Batman we use instead of me doing it.
Dude, apparently they just got him on the... I didn't even see
They got
this.
him on two of the
minor
five charges. Right, the RICO.
They didn't have. They said they didn't have it.
Yeah.
But all that being said, what did you think about the after effects outside the court?
Black shenanigans. Shooting themselves with baby oil. The fatigue is real, nigga.
It was just that. It was one. Was it one woman
I saw it. Did we see the same thing with the crowd?
And
the dude had the shirt off.
And then the one woman was.
And the one guy is spraying him with the. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw it. It was like, I was like, but why?
Comedian Lernell said that this just proves that men can do anything they want to women and get away with it.
He didn't get away with it. He got. Didn't he get on the charge? Some of those
two prostitution trafficking charges.
Oh, he didn't get anything for like
not the hardcore shit
for kicking the.
No,
he kicked the out of her.
We did more than that.
But
kicked the drug her.
But see that's also it was because that the time. Right, there was it didn't come to court before.
A lot of dudes are saying, "Look, she got $30 million. So what else you want?"
Well, no, but he should have to be. But if the there's a what's the time statute? What's it called?
Statute of limitations.
Yeah. So if they didn't get into the statute of limitations, then she got $30 million, then that's the best deal you're going to get.
I mean, he still can serve some kind of jail time for the two things he got convicted for, right?
Yeah, but what? Well, it's up to the judge, I guess. I don't know. I haven't really paid that much attention to it because really the baby oil thing got me.
Right.
Why am I watching this? It wasn't about the trial anymore. It was about like he was wilding out, man.
I mean, Diddy did what Diddy do.
But the baby oil is he's going to have his own brand of Diddy baby oil.
Oh man, there was so many memes, funny memes all over the internet. There was one with somebody, I guess, AI the face of R. Kelly in straight bewilderment. I was like, can't believe Diddy got away with it. But listen, man, I kind of knew this was going to happen. I don't care what nobody say, man. At the end of the day, I mean, every now and then, someone is made an example of. But for the most part, when you got money, when you got power, when you got stature, you got fame, you got all of the ingredients for get away with it gumbo. It happens.
Epstein didn't get away with it. I mean,
he got away with it.
He did, but by the end of his life,
he got
away.
I mean,
maybe this is just the first chapter of Diddy, of the downfall.
No, what with Diddy though was different is, and you said R. Kelly. R. Kelly kept postponing, and they tried to get her. Diddy wanted to go to court right away because he knew he was going to get off. He knew he was going to get off. He knew he was going to beat he knew he was going to beat the big charges.
You think this is a blow towards women?
No, I think if anything else, he might have got away with it in court, but I still think the public was very saw what he did, and I think that's going to be held against him at some amount of time.
The public is so fickle. Everybody likes to ride whatever the wave of popularity is. So it's going to be popular to hate on him. But then after, like with anything else, with time, when the next big story comes up, this will all be forgotten.
But I do think women saw when you saw what he did to her. People were like, what the like they were.
Women were like that with Chris Brown, and now they're in love with Chris Brown again.
But you just said women were like women,
Well, but where did he hurt though? What really hurt him though? Nothing stopping the movement. If R. Kelly could get out of jail and put out a hit record, the movement will keep moving.
He has to get to put out a hit record, though. Diddy, he owns the record company. It's a difference.
In a bad way?
No, like he controls his destiny more than.
There you go.
So, But will he do? You don't know. He might just go, you know what? I'm fade in the back here, make my millions.
I don't even think that's possible for that dancer.
He don't look good. He doesn't look like he used to when he was young,
Well,
when he was fresh.
He's been in jail.
Yeah.
But he's a billionaire.
He's a billionaire.
He's coming back.
He's coming back, but he doesn't have to be on the record.
I guarantee you the first welcome home party is sponsored by Johnson & Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Welcome home, nigga. Whoops! That's all the guests coming into the party. Hey, Diddy, whoops! Just slipping.
He's going to put out his own. He'll put out his own. It's not going to be Johnson & Johnson. He's going to put out his own. If he doesn't put it on his own baby oil, I can't imagine it. I just can't imagine that not happening. How would you not ride that?
That would be terrible.
What do you mean?
I think this makes our Justice Department look bad, or who brought
When
the
does
charges
the Justice
against them.
Department ever look good? The United States
No,
Justice
they're supposed to nail people. You know what I mean?
say that again?
They're supposed to nail people.
Say that again? One more time.
They're
They're supposed to nail people?
They're supposed to.
That's going to be Diddy's first release.
What?
He's just going to be supposed to.
They were supposed to get me, but they didn't. Take that. He's back, man. It's gonna be a hell of a party. Well, listen, man. We said we wanted to see the movie together, but because of scheduling conflicts, not conflicts, but just the timing.
Timing,
of everything.
yeah.
And plus, it'd be different if we was on the road, like we normally do, for a weekend. But these next two shows are one-hitter quitters. We're here in Shreveport, Louisiana, for a one-nighter at the Margaritaville Resort and Casino. One show tonight, so we wouldn't have had time. We all got in at the same time because we were on the same flight, 3:30. And there was just no way to go see the movie. So separately, Andy and I saw bum 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 ba da ba 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 ba. Now, I don't really have much at all, but I'm sure we'll, as the thread gets pulled, we'll get into it. It was okay. It wasn't bad. Jurassic Park Rebirth. It wasn't bad. But summer blockbuster? Nah.
I think you're a little jaded.
And from what sense?
Because you're used to these movies. The nod to the big scene when you first see the Brachiosaurus in the original.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
But you see them in the back. And this time they had their tails whipping.
Well, that was one of the most beautiful scenes in the movie.
And for me, what really took place was me really going, holy shit, they kind of really have this CGI.
Perfected?
I don't want to say perfected because it's going to get better, but man, that was pretty good.
Let me tell you, the one thing that I expressed that I was worried about was my biggest concern. It's a monster movie now. And as much as they try to, with the, whatever those dinosaurs were called, along with the, I can't remember the names, but the one that's the biggest flying dinosaur to ever exist, which they said
Pterodactyls.
No. It wasn't a
you're
pterodactyl.
right, it wasn't.
It's a specific name for this. It's as big as a giraffe, but can fly. So there's that one. Of course, the Spinosaurus, the big scene with the raft, with the T-Rex. So, it's Jurassic Park still. So they gave us some Jurassic Park. But the onus to me was they made it a monster movie with this D-Rex shit.
Well, he's very comic book like as well. That
The D-Rex?
yeah, the way his face, it looked like someone drew it for a comic book.
It looked like it could have been in the movie Aliens with Sigourney Weaver.
He looked premature, like he wasn't done cooking.
Yeah, it's funny because once these movies come out now, you can go to TikTok and everybody's a Gene Shalit with their reviews. But I think most of the general consensus is people thought this was meh. And when they talk about the whole Jurassic Park franchise, undoubtedly, they go the number one of all the number one is unbeatable. It's the best. Then they do Lost World, and from there, the only other review that I saw with all the Jurassic Park movies was the one where they go to the park again for the first time after it's been revamped, where they introduce the what the motherfucker, the Mark, you got the new computer?
And I believe the answer you were looking for was Pterosaur.
No, it starts with an O.
Quetzalcoatlus
That's it.
northropy.
That starts with a what?
A Q.
That's it. That's the dinosaur. But when they first introduced, what's my girl, Ron Howard's daughter?
Yeah.
Bryce.
Look at you, mother. A lot of
Bryceosaurus.
people say outside of Jurassic Park 1, that one was the best one. All the other ones were okay. Some people like 3 because of the Spinosaurus. A lot of people shit on Dominion, which I think is overhated. I love Dominion. I didn't think Dominion was bad at all.
You know, would you?
And of course, Dominion was, hey, the gang's all here.
That's what bothered me about this movie the most, though.
What?
Because, like you said, the gang's all here. Who are all the characters in this film? And
Which were all new characters.
And I'm not on anybody's acting or anything, but who was critical to make this movie move?
I don't think any one character.
Neither do I, and that's the problem I have with this movie.
Even though a lot of people said they enjoyed Mahershala Ali's character,
Yeah,
and of course, Scarlett Joe is Scarlett Joe.
yeah, but is she necessary? You could have put anybody in. You could have.
Right.
All the characters were plug and play to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I did think, I don't know if this was supposed to be a 2.5-hour blockbuster.
Which it was 2.5 hours, right?
Well, no, it was
Like
2 hours and 15
10
minutes.
minutes, yeah.
Was it supposed to be longer than that? Because there's no character development. I'm not connected to anybody. Scarlett Johansson, they try to make her a mercenary. Oh, you're a mercenary. But I don't have any connection to her. Yeah, she was all right. She did. She's fine. Her acting was fine.
How'd those tits look running through the forest?
They didn't run through the forest.
Nor did they show much tit.
So, listen, that's not. I mean it from strictly acting standpoint. Yeah, she's in the movie, but there's nothing about her and her character that makes me go. There's no Jeff Goldblum in any of these,
Nah, there wasn't.
and that to me, he is as important as.
But even when you mention him, he was crazy, interesting. I thought Laura Dern was interesting. The guy that played the lead dude, the Indiana Jones knockoff.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
the lead dude.
Scott or something.
What was his name? Mark, look these.
Looking it up. Also, Indominus.
Indominus Rex. That's what I was trying to think of. But the guy that played the lead in the first Jurassic, the main, what do you call these to do what they do?
He paleontologist.
Paleontologist.
He's in a lot of movies, but he's just that guy that's in a lot of movies.
The 2 kids I thought were interesting.
Yeah, but in this one,
John Hammond was interesting. This one, it just felt like you said, plug and play.
yeah, they have that side story with the, here we go again. This is just they have to. We had a racially diverse cast,
Yeah.
and so it's the
And the nigga lived.
and the dad. Yeah, that was a joyous moment actually because
Yeah,
I thought,
yeah.
but I thought he was going to live the way it was written, the way
it
was
looked to me, I thought the motherfucker was gone.
No, I thought he was
Sam Neill.
Sam Neill playing who?
Alan Grant.
Alan Grant.
I thought he was going to live.
The way Alan Grant was like allergic to kids, and then towards the end of the first movie, he became like the father figure,
And then you got Newman from the Seinfeld guy. That's
Yeah.
Wayne Knight.
I say the magic word.
There was interesting character plot development. We know they're going into an island. We know we're going to see some funky ass dinosaurs.
Right.
And the dad acts okay. The dad, remember, no one's supposed to be traveling through this area, and the dad's on a sailboat just going through the area.
Right.
And then that's where the kids have this issue. He wasn't supposed to be there. All of a
Right.
sudden, he's just there.
Yeah.
So they insert these little things in. It just didn't go anywhere. It was just a way to
from a visual standpoint, and I always thought to put the dinosaurs in their natural habitat and see them do what they do always felt more natural than I think it was it Fallen Kingdom? I think it's Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom, where they take them off the island to go sell them.
Yeah.
And they're in the castle. That even in Lost World, when to me was jumping the shark when they transported the T-Rex to San Diego. and he's running through San Diego. It was something about keeping him on the island, all the greenery, the tall, the trees. It just felt more natural.
Well, to your point, I
That
think
was the book, though, right? That was following the book's
I don't know.
timeline. They didn't just create that.
Did you read the book?
No.
Oh, okay. So you just threw the book in there to like up your profile. Like
We were saying, like, why'd they do that? Well, it was following the book.
Yeah, I just, to me, it just felt like, and I can understand it from a standpoint of they go, if we're going to keep making these movies, they can't just continuously be on the island.
Well, but see, that's where
Should have been Cleveland.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, he ate that up. They'd probably spit them back out.
it would have been a great place to start this movie, where you see it in Cleveland and the dinosaur just falls over dead
The T-Rex bites a Clevelander and then spits it out and goes,
and dies.
right.
Because that would have been interesting if they would have done something about how in the equator the dinosaurs can live, but then you see them fall; they're dying all over all over wherever they're living now.
Yeah.
And so that's the natural progression. Dinosaurs don't stay. We're here. The dinosaurs get taken out, but they're living in the equator. We go to their area, but you have to develop that character a little bit. I wanted Scarlett Johansson's character. I wanted her to do something, but there was nothing that was done.
Is this franchise dead?
Yeah,
It's over. It's time to move.
It's a comic book.
Does this mean there's another 2 more? Because they kind of do everything in 3?
Well, listen, no. What dictates another one is the box office. So I don't know what the final receipts are, but if this thing does what they project or hope that it would do, there's gonna be another one.
Okay, the one thing that I will say, the theater was full when I went, 8:00 on.
One of the shows I wanted to go to was sold out.
Yeah,
So I had to go to another one.
So they were full. But did you? I have to ask you. Did you see it, Mark? Did you go?
No.
Okay. Did you see it in 3D or 2D?
Regular.
I saw it in 3D.
So it makes a difference.
Dude,
They come out the screen?
They don't. Yeah, they move, and you're kind of more enveloped into the.
Yeah.
But the 3D now is really good. Like it's not like it used to be.
Even when it was what it used to be as a kid, that the 3D era came during my childhood. So I thought that was the coolest shit I ever saw.
But you don't see it the same way with all the. You know how like you saw all the 3 colors in the glasses, put the colors. It
Right.
doesn't even look like that when you do it. And the glasses are comfortable. You're looking at it. You're in the screen. Is it the greatest 3D movie I ever seen? No, but that was the time that I wanted to go, and it was in 3D. So I was like, yeah. And then Tara goes, "I've never seen a 3D movie." I go, "That's it. We're going to go see a 3D movie." So we went and saw it. It was that had some a little extra in it, but it didn't save them. It didn't save it to me. They still didn't have a story. They went to the island and we're going to see some really weird dinosaurs. That's it. That's the story. The dinosaur, the flying one, whatever. That one was kind of cool. That was the coolest one because that was
and
the
they
most.
introduced that in Dominion.
But that was the most interactive dinosaur that we had.
Right. That and the scene with the T-Rex and the.
But the scene with the T-Rex is just it's.
Listen, you can't have a dinosaur movie and not show T-Rex.
Yeah, but that's
It's the king of the dinosaurs.
that T-Rex was like. It okay. This is horrible. What I'm about to say. Okay, it's like if they were trying to get rid of the T-Rex at birth, and it lived. That's what it looked like.
No.
Yeah, its face was all smushed, and his teeth were all weird.
no.
Yeah, he looked.
It looked better than ever. With the CGI, it looked better than ever. It was mad aggressive, mad.
It had that weird face, the little eye, and it was
no.
it was just big.
No. Listen, and again, like I said, they
You
have.
should have saw it in 3D. It looked like that in 3D.
You can't keep going without shaking it up. That's why in Jurassic Park 3, even though they showed the T-Rex, because again, you cannot do a Jurassic Park without T-Rex. But the star was the Spinosaurus.
Okay.
That was the new big kid on the block.
What did you think about the water animals that we don't really get to?
The Mosasaurus.
Yeah, we didn't really see.
We didn't really get to see that.
Yeah.
We saw it more in the Jurassic Park with Dallas Bryce.
Yeah,
when it jumped out the water.
I think that was almost like a Jaws kind of thing, just to scare you more without having to show it to you, without putting
Right.
a lot of effort into it.
Listen, great movies. Action is one thing, but the dialogue and just like in the original Jurassic Park, how I love that moment where I do my Jeff Goldblum when he goes, "I'll tell you the problem what you've done. You're trying to sell it. There's a moment. I love this scene in The Lost World, which they never called it Jurassic Park 2. They called it The Lost World, but Jeff Goldblum's character, Dr. Ian Malcolm, goes to I'm forgetting the names now. Welcome to Jurassic Park. The Dr. Hammond's crib. And basically he's telling him in the movie that there was a separate island where there are no fences and the dinosaurs are roaming free, but in order to save it, X, Y, and Z has to happen. So he sends a team of 4 people to do some, we're not to be seen undercover work about these dinosaurs. And the dialogue in that is so great because at one point, Dr. Hammond says, "Oh, don't worry, I'm not making the same mistakes I made before." And it's as only Jeff Goldblum could deliver. His retort is, "No, you're making all new ones." And then and just before he goes, and there's this person, and I was hoping that you might be the 4th. And then he finds out that he sent his girl on this island. And he goes, if you want to put your name on something, fine, but stop putting it on other people's headstones. He goes, the research team. This is not a research team. It's a rescue mission and leaves now. Bum 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 bum. So just some of that. I didn't get that in this
because the scientist, the lead, there's no. Who is that guy? Who's the
Asian guy?
No, on this new one. Who's the scientist guy? The Asian guy's what's his name?
B.D. Wong.
Yeah, from Law and Order.
Yeah, and he was in the first Jurassic Park, Dominion, and the other one.
But he doesn't have any. There's supposed to be maybe a budding romance there with
a hint of it,
but nothing. He doesn't have the. The only one who really pulled off like a charismatic performance. And it's so minimal because they didn't let him develop it. Is Ali?
Marshawn Ali.
His the way that you could tell that he was given some acting, but there was no place to go with it.
Right.
Where are you going to go with it if it's not connecting?
Yeah.
You needed more. I liked that he lived, but you needed more to want him to live.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie, but because I'm such a fan of dinosaurs. If they come out with another one, I'm gonna go see it. I'm gonna stream it. I'm gonna ride this till it's extinct.
I'm gonna stream it. What was the dude's name?
Was it Rupert Friend? Nope. Jonathan Bailey?
Oh, we'd have to see the face.
Ed Screen?
Have to see the face.
Can't put it up there?
No, it's up. Oh, you can.
Let's see.
Well, listen, we got to jump to this last thing before we get out of here. But on a scale of 1 to 10.
No, that's the dad. I think that was the dad. No, he's the one who gets killed right away.
Him? Or the guy with the glasses?
No, who? Yeah, that must be him. Oh, no, that's him right there. Who is that?
Jonathan Stewart Bailey.
English actor. He should stay working. He should do more English acting.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you give this?
If I was watching it at home, I'd probably give it a 6, because it's
Damn.
interesting, or 7 maybe, as I was watching it at home.
But at the movies?
Making me go to the movies.
It's lower?
Yeah, because you made me get up. I had to take an Uber over there.
Damn.
I did get a nice.
So what do you give
Icy
it?
was really good. I give it a 5.
5?
It didn't do anything for me, man.
I give it a 6.5.
I wanted to like it. That's my problem. I wanted to like it.
Yeah.
And listen, it's not a movie that I'm giving it a 5 because it had all the ingredients. It just didn't come together. Yeah, it had the ingredients. It didn't come together. It had actors in it that I like and that I thought should have put something together. This is just, maybe it was just me. Tara liked it. I liked it. I liked it, but I didn't like it.
You didn't love it.
It didn't hold water to what I thought it was going to be.
Andy turned me on to this great 1 hour.
55 minutes, baby.
It's a documentary, right?
It's a documentary. It's a series called Trainwreck.
Trainwreck. And because I like this one, I might check others out.
And this one was called
Poop Cruise.
Poop Cruise.
And this is some real shit that popped off. Carnival Cruise. It was the Carnival Cruise, one of the biggest cruise liners, had a ship that took off. I think they said 1,200 people, staff, and 3,000 guests.
4 days cruise.
4-day cruise.
3 perfect days.
3 perfect days, and then it ended up being 4 extra days of hell. So what was it 32, 12, 30? So 4,200 people caught on the cruise of hell because there was a fire in the engine room, and because of the damage that the fire did, all the power went out.
It blew the generators because the generators
Blew the generators. So 4,200 people were stuck without power.
And they only were like maybe 15 hours away from being back, 16 hours away from being back.
Right. And because they had no power, the toilets couldn't flush.
And they couldn't steer the ships. It was on a drift.
It was on a drift. So it was just drifting in the middle of the ocean, no power, no ability to flush toilets. And eventually, it started coming everywhere.
Well,
The walls were leaking sewage water. The floor was covered with sewage water.
but the beginning of this is what's like I think about. I right away I went to you. Like, what would Aries do in this situation? Because the first thing it is when they realize the toilets aren't going to flush before anything went real wrong. This is the very beginning.
Yeah.
They pass out red bags.
Yes. And they go, so listen, if it's a
They're biohazard
if it's
red
a
bags.
number one, piss in the shower. But if it's a number 2, piss in a red plastic bag, tie it up, and leave the bags outside the door like room service to be collected. Now, let me tell you something, man. I've been on a cruise ship once for pleasure, and I've been on it a second time to perform. Not a big fan. Now, don't get me wrong. When you're on a big luxury cruise liner, like they say in the thing, there's a lot of shit to do. So much so that it's mind-blowing. Somebody even described it as a skyscraper turned to the side floating in the water.
Yep.
Casinos, theaters, dance clubs, pools, workout rooms. Some places have racetracks. It's bananas.
Yeah, big full slides that go.
Yes.
Stories come down stories.
But the idea of being on something in the middle of space for the Earth, and when that, and here's what was we said this, was scary. Obviously, when the power's on and the ship is well lit, but you're out on that deck at night, total blackness. Mm-hmm. Now imagine the ship with no power at night, sitting in blackness.
Just
Get the out of here. Never. I don't ever want to be on a ship.
How close to shore were they?
they were hours away from the shore.
Oh, okay. So
And at one point, they were
crossing
going to get
oceans.
they were going to get two tugboats to bring them into the port of Mexico because they were near that.
That's where they were supposed to be.
Right, but because they had no power and the waves made them wander further away, the tugboats couldn't even get to them.
They were in basically the Mexico America. What is it? The Bay of Mexico or America? What do we call that
Gulf
now?
of America?
The Gulf. Yeah, the Gulf of America, Mexico. It's in that area, and so they stopped in Mexico, and then they were supposed to go back, and they're there that day, and then a day going back, and they left, and they're only a few hours away, so they were thinking they were going to come back, but by the time they were adrift, they were too far away to get back there. So,
Dude, when they showed the moment where the cooks, and at one point, because they had no power, a lot of food they had to throw out, and the lines to get food it was like the lines at the airport to get Starbucks times 100.
well, and that's what you think when you think, okay, well, we're going to be stuck here, and you think, well, they're loaded for food, but they can't. How is it going to stay fresh?
Right.
The other part, though, when they give you those red bags, this is what I thought immediately. What do half the people say when you say, I'm going to go on a cruise? What do they say is one of the greatest things? The buffets. There's
Yeah.
always buffets.
Right.
There's some people eating all that buffet. You're going to tell me you're going to give them red bags after they've been eating?
Well, they were like, there were some people, and Johnny Cochran had a great quote. He goes, the only power that you have during a crisis is your conduct during it.
Yeah.
And of course, when the shit hits the fan, damn near literally, every man for itself. People go into panic mode. It's like when the pandemic hit. People are fighting in the supermarket over toilet paper, going to fisticuffs. And it's just people were hoarding food, bringing it back to they used bed sheet. They put all their mattresses outside on the deck because it was too hot in the rooms. They took bed sheet covers and formed like little tents, little cities on deck. So people were like fighting like, yo, this is my food for my group, get your own. People were fighting for beach chairs, and it became chaos. And at one point, the girl goes, and we're waiting in this line for 2 hours to get what we think is going to be a hamburger, and it's just soggy bread on a lettuce with a lettuce and tomato sandwich. Yeah, I don't ever want to be in a situation like that.
The genius part, I thought, okay, so you're in red bags, you have no electricity, nothing's going right, and the idea that they had was, let's give away free alcohol.
What a horrible idea! Who the thought that was a good idea?
It's the only thing you can give away for free because it's the only thing
it's going to bring your spirits up for a second.
Yep.
And then alcohol is going to do what alcohol does.
Yep.
Which means it turns the assholes into bigger assholes. They said people started at one point pissing over the top of the deck. Certain people were fighting. There were fights. People were out on the deck. Who thought that was a good idea?
People threw their red bags out into the ocean and it was blown back at them.
And hit fecal matter, slapped people in the face because of the strong winds. What a terrible idea. Dude, let me tell you something. And when the one English captain, British chick, she made the initial announcement that if you have to go to the bathroom and do number one, piss in the shower. And then she talked about the red bags. And, one of the guys go, look, if a dude got to piss, all we got to do is take our out and piss over the whatever. Women can't do that because, and then they showed the cartoon illustration of the woman trying to do that, and she could fall in the water. And then I wrote, and I know I've said this on the pod before, reason 471 why being a woman sucks. Because when you're a woman, you have to deal with the possibility of domestic abuse, sexual assault, sexual harassment, dealing with inequality, going through childbirth, menopause, periods. You're slower physically, you're physically weaker, and you can't whip your out and piss. I would never want to be abroad. It stinks.
They do have in Scandinavia, they have urinals that women can go to, and it's just a little plastic piece that you put there so that they can just.
You got to put it on you?
Well, it's like a funnel almost in a way where
that sounds fun.
Yeah, and they can just
as opposed to just whipping your out and just doing your thing.
Well, they can just go into the funnel.
Being a woman stinks, dude. I'm telling you. I would never want to be a woman, dude. Ever.
Some women are very happy being moms.
I'd be a janitor in that bathroom in a heartbeat.
You like that one?
Just picture in my head.
I'm telling you, boy. Sometimes you're a dirty funny man.
I'm serious.
I know you are. Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
It was just, but this whole. Then they get into it where like they're starting to show where it goes on for the fourth day, and now you see that it's backing up. All the water that people have used is now backing up because I don't know why they can't drain it. They're in the middle of the ocean. I know there's somebody who's going to say environmentally that's horrible. We're talking about billions of gallons of water, and this thing here where people can't live in this toxic. And it's actually overflowing, and people they show them walking on carpet and splashing up.
The most disgusting part was when the head Indian chef was talking about how we went back to his room and they showed a picture. The nigga's ankle deep in brown water.
Yeah.
Oh, my
He said he jumped off his bunk.
God.
Right into the water.
Ah.
How bad that smells. After electricity. It has to smell like the inside of your refrigerator if you turn a refrigerator off for a few days and then open that thing up.
It ain't gonna smell that bad.
Oh, yeah.
Not as bad. An open refrigerator versus...
All that stuff's spoiling. It's turning to
ain't though.
Well, you're grossed out about the fact that it's fecal matter.
Yes.
I'm talking about the smell. Just the smell has to be the worst. It's not good. And I saw that, and I was like, I don't know if I could ever go on a cruise again. Dude,
usually solutions don't come up to handle problems until the problems present themselves. But I would have thought that in all this years of cruise liners being around, no one anticipated this ever. This had to happen for them to go. Nobody ever said, "Yo, what if the power goes out?"
Well, they have there's, I think he said 8 generators. If 2 of them go out, you're fine. If 4 of them go out, you're fine. Probably even if 7 go out, you're fine. This is having no power whatsoever.
But they never thought, let's make sure there's a way to flush toilets even without power.
No, you can't.
Same thing with the Titanic. They're like, you can't sink this.
Well, no,
so compartmentalized.
Well, listen, the mistake in that movie was when the line was specific. Not this is an unsinkable ship. Not even God can sink this ship. You don't play with God. The moment you do that, God goes, "Oh yeah." There's a real quote that goes, "Man plans, God laughs." Yo, you don't play God games, man.
But the technology that they had with that ship, the fact that they had the compartments underneath.
You talking about Titanic?
Yeah, so that it couldn't do it. That is. What were the chances of everything? Like you said, though, it's God.
Right.
You can't say that. This thing, though, this is just. I think this is just. It's too much. You see that? How many stories are those things? Those things are like, how many stories are those cruise ships now? Like 10 stories, 15 stories.
Right.
It's just too big, and it's too many people. I mean, you take a third of those people.
I've always wondered, are there enough lifeboats for every single person?
No.
So how is that even allowed?
Yeah, there is.
No, there's not.
14, 19 passenger decks, so I think that means
4,200 people. Uh-oh, look at the 2 Jews with math.
Yeah, I'm not doing math. I'm looking at a comic book. Sorry. It's an auction.
Your mission, Aries, should you choose to accept it, being going up against 2 Jews when
With
it comes
calculators.
to math. Bum, 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 bum.
No, but what he's saying though, how many with that many people, all those how many people, how many lifeboats are?
so. It says they're required to have lifeboats for at least 75% of the total capacity.
I told you.
So what happens to the other 25?
But the remaining capacity is typically covered by inflatable life rafts and other evacuation
So does that mean that
systems.
technically there is a way for everybody to live in case the ship's going down? We should have had
They're supposed
Mary
to
on
have
this
enough life
That would have
rafts
been interesting.
for
Life rafts.
enough people.
You
Not
can
the
float.
boats, the rafts too.
You can float. You can float on a little raft.
That is kind of weird that they don't have enough
They don't have
boats
enough
just for
space.
everybody.
They don't
but
have
like if they have
They-
that
they should-
75%, that's close to.
No, close. So whose life goes?
Well, I'm saying
more-
like what's
It's the
what's
crew-
wrong with
it's-
getting another 25%?
It's the crew that doesn't have boats, basically. is
So
what
the
that
crew
is.
go die?
The crew gets the floaties.
Oh, but nonetheless, every life on board can abandon the ship.
Yeah, but I think what they're thinking for the most part is if something goes really awry, not everybody's going to make it anyway.
You see, this is why I go, there's certain things in life that tell you, no, you ain't supposed to be doing that. You ain't supposed to be out on a vessel in the middle of the ocean. No.
It's so large is what bothers me. It's too many people.
What scares me is the around you is larger. The ocean.
Yeah, without a doubt. But I don't want to be around. Being around 6,000 people. 6,000 people are on the ship. Is that what it is? Like
Total?
Guess. No,
Total?
guess.
No, 3,000.
3,000.
And 1,200 are crew.
Yeah, that actually makes the numbers right. About 25% is for the crew. It gets in the little
Right.
rafts, and the rest are taken care of. I don't want to be around that many people that I have to see every day.
Have you've been on a cruise though?
Uh-huh.
There's something about it that is fun.
Yeah, but really, is it?
I hear you. The risk ain't worth the reward, nigga.
The food's good. The gambling, you're on this, and it's all encompassing.
If
it's
I
all
want
right
gambling,
there.
I'm going to Vegas.
I get that it's all right there, and then you wake up. That's the nice part. You wake up and you're in a city, and you can go out to the day and do the tours. You know how else you can do that? On a train.
Or on a plane.
But a train is nice. Trains don't follow the sky.
Statistically speaking, air travel is the safest form of travel.
Yeah, but again, I'll just make that point. Trains don't fall out of the sky.
I hear you.
So you could go to sleep on a train. They have the sleeping cabins, and you can go to your next stop. And the first class on a train is really nice.
Yeah.
They have, I mean, they actually cook on the train. They have actually kitchens.
Listen, I would think that anything you could do with friends or family, people you care about, for not too long a time can be enjoyable. You know?
Yeah.
I can't remember. The last time I rode a train, and I wasn't like I rode long distance, was when I rode from, God, where was I? Belgium. I forget where I was going. But from Belgium to and yo, I was like, yo, this is nice.
Nice.
But, you know, for how long, who I'm with, that matters.
But traveling, okay, like you get on the plane, we travel, whatever, we get there and we're tired. You're on a cruise ship. You have a room, you can relax, you get tired, it's going all the time. There's always a buffet. You don't have to plan it. I understand the idea of why you cruise. And you know, there's people that go on, like, retire and can take a year and there's year-long cruises that you just go on and you go all over the world. You have your little cabin. They feed you the whole time there. And it costs less than like living in your own
you can
house.
retire on a cruise.
During
actually.
the day,
people have been doing that.
During the day, when you're out on the deck, and I mean, what are you really looking at? Nothing but vast water. But nice. The sun is out. You're looking at that nice blue ocean. You know, you're laying on the deck. Whatever. I get the part where it can be enjoying, but then at night, it scares the shit out of you. Again, the possibility of something going wrong scares the shit out of you.
I don't think it goes awry that often, but you know, once it scared me, like when COVID hit, there's those cruise ships that wouldn't even let dock. Could you imagine being stuck on the ocean? You can see where you're supposed to be, but they're not letting you because people are actually sick and inside.
It's like when a girl is in the bed and you see the, but she ain't committing to yes, but you can see it. It's right there, but she ain't committing to yes. It's very frustrating. I understand. Dude, I got this last note. I don't know if you heard about this, but you know, Carnival Cruise, and this, I'm not making this up. This is real. They just said from now on they're not playing no more hip hop and no more R&B music. Black fatigue is real. And let me tell you, hold up, I'm not making this up because I saw a couple of pieces of footage, and it was talked about where Carnival Cruise was doing these like air quotes soulful cruises. So it's predominantly black people. This is wildin'. Black people are acting such a fool that they said, and this is a dog whistle. We're not playing no more hip hop, rap, or soul music. That is we tired of you. I don't know how to act. Now, my thing is this. Okay, but I guarantee you that when the white folks is there, they're going to play that shit.
Yeah.
Because nobody's rocking out the heavy metal, hardcore rock, or country music. So again, they want the rhythm, but they don't want the blues.
No, there'll be country cruise ships.
Did they specifically say hip hop?
Yes. No more hip hop and rap. Why do you think that is?
But did they say specifically hip hop and rap? That
Yes,
seems
I'm
stupid.
telling you.
Anybody with a Bluetooth speaker in a public space is a
Dude,
asshole.
it is a clear dog whistle to say you don't know how to act. We tired of it. Black fatigue.
Well, you know, I hate to say this, but this is a business opportunity
For whom?
for a black
You've seen Soul Plane?
a black industrialist, I guess is the word.
To try to fill that void?
Fill the void. If it isn't working, and
I'll let you on a little secret. Nigga don't even want to. Black capitalists don't even want to. The fatigue is real, nigga.
I'm saying you can fill the void. You can fill the void. If you believe there's a void there, that's the best way to do it. Capture that market. Let me ask you this question: if it, you know, we talked about this a little bit, kind of. I've tried to support black business because I think it's if someone is just as if it's good, I'm supporting my Hispanic businessmen, my black businessmen. I'll go to a white business too if it has the right reviews. But all that being said, support. I believe you should support, especially like independent business people. I really like to support people that I relate to, and if there's a void, and a black businessman fills that void, do black people still go and wild out, or are they going to treat it like?
It's a flip of a coin, because I've seen footage where there have been black businesses in Atlanta, eateries, and black people turn that into a house party. So, part of the responsibility falls on the ownership to set boundaries, and then part of it falls on the patrons to act accordingly.
I think a lot of this has to do with, you keep saying black fatigue. Is that what you said? I think it's white fear. White people fear saying anything to anyone, where, like, if something was going crazy, they should go, hey, man, that's not what we're doing. We have security. Let's calm this thing out. When we talked about going to black clubs where you don't want people wilding out and maybe like heckling or ruining the show, you talked about places that you go to and the security comes up with you. They have guns.
Right.
We're not doing that here.
Because they know what to do.
Well, but that changes that people know that that's part of that culture, and they're not going to go in there and try to be that person.
Listen, there are black influencers, John Paul King, at least two other I can't stand. And they'll get on and give you every reason why black fatigue is real, and they basically like hate their own race. And I saw one guy who was talking about this very same thing about, black people, y'all don't know how to act in public, and y'all do this. And then he showed a clip of a bunch of young jumping on cars and dancing on cars and twerking. And I just went, bruh, I hear you, but stop acting like white people don't wild out either. When their favorite teams win, they flip over cars, they burn, they climb lampposts. Again, I forget what team won, but I saw one dude eat horse manure. So it's like, come on, man. White people are the Babe Ruth, the wilding out. But I get it. I get it. After a certain point in time, you don't want chaos from anybody.
That's true. I think, like I think when white people don't go crazy, it's an event. I don't think black people need an event as much. They don't need a big event.
We're the event. We're the party.
When
we show up, we the event.
That's
right.
So it's not. It's more sporadic. You don't know how to control it because it's not. It just needs a moment.
Yeah.
I would say that would be some of it, but there's no way that you're going to have a cruise ship that's not going to play any hip hop. I can see them getting rid of rap, and when I say rap, I mean like gangster rap, that kind of stuff. I can see that. And listen, man,
it's the same as a dress code.
Yeah, but dress codes have always been used to
keep out riffraff.
Minimize anything that's going to be a disturbance.
Right.
In which white people find that to be black people.
Yeah.
I didn't know that black people went on cruises. Like, that it was that much of a problem that we have to create new rules for it. Because I'm seeing some of the pictures.
When we decide to do something, we come in with noise.
It is such a white thing to say, though. I didn't know black people went on cruises.
Listen.
Well, I saw some pictures. I was like, damn, I didn't
Until
know.
he saw pictures. I can't believe this occurs. This really occurs? Black people are on a cruise?
Oh, wait, I had one more interesting note that I wanted.
I think they could have avoided all this if they just left the dock on time.
Asshole.
Can you imagine every like cruise ship? You probably see people on the dock running like, "Hey, motherfucker!"
One of the news anchors, and because when this first started unraveling, the powers that be at Carnival didn't want this story to leak out. They cared more about the PR.
It's not an American company, by the way.
The situation.
I don't think. Who owns Carnival, by the way? Since we have them, go ahead.
But one of the news anchors said once this started unraveling and the details about the sewage and the fecal matter came out, she goes, what it must have been like to be on a ship clustered with thousands of people with the smell of and urine everywhere. And I just went, ask my ancestors. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cramped on a ship with fecal matter and an uncomfortable, unbearable situation for days.
No electricity.
No electricity. in the bowels of a ship at night. Ask my ancestors.
But see, that ship never ran out of electricity.
Which one? Never had it.
But it had power.
Yeah, the engines was called.
But that's how that.
And it wasn't 7 days.
No.
It was months.
Yeah.
So come on, man.
That is.
But I like that point. I like that point because the one Russian female, remember, who was part of the crew, she said, this idea that you're like feeling like you're in a third world country with no power and bare food to eat. You Americans, this is what we go through every day. Welcome to Soviet Union.
Did you find out who owns Carnival?
It's a bunch of people own it, but
It's not an American company.
It's American, but British too.
Let's give out some dates.
All right. We got to go do a show.
Yeah, we got to do the emails too.
I know. Fuck me. Damn it.
Soviet Union.
What the?
Were you looking for the dates?
Yeah, I got it right here. There it is.
Panama, maybe.
All right. We are in Margaritaville Resort and Casino here in Louisiana. And so it's one night. We're gone. We're gone tomorrow. So by the time you're hearing this, we're not here. But you're going to be listening to it this next week. And July 12th, we're at the Fitzgerald Theater in St. Paul, Minnesota. July 17th to the 20th, we're going to be at the Helium Comedy Club in Portland, Oregon. July 24th to the 26th, we're at the Comedy at the Carlson that is in Rochester, New York. July 31st through August 3rd, Stress Factory in New Brunswick, New Jersey. August 7th to the 9th, Mic Drop Comedy Club in San Diego, California. August 15th to the 17th at Bricktown Comedy Club in OKC. I had a burp there, sorry.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's happened to me. August 22nd to the 24th, Tacoma Comedy Club out there in Tacoma, Washington. And August 28th to the 31st, we're going to be at Helium Comedy Club in St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis, baby.
That's, is that a show?
That is a show.
That's a show.
Spears and Steinberg.
Thanks for listening to the Spears and Steinberg podcast. For more information on where to find us on the internet, visit spearsburgpod.com.